Hey, what's going on? My name is Ben Glass. I'm a chiropractor, and we're here on the Pre-Chiro podcast where we're just trying to provide some insights for you, the pre-chiro student, on what this path looks like to become a chiropractor. Today, I have Nash on here with me. What's going on? I appreciate you taking the time. Can you just break it down for us a little bit about what your background was before chiropractic school and what attracted you to this profession?
Definitely. Excuse me. It's a little about my story. So it starts in high school. I was an athlete and injured my back playing basketball and ended up going to a chiropractor back in high school. They helped me out a little bit, but at the time they didn't really explain really what chiropractic was to a T for me that I understood. So at the time, I ended up having this kind of like long recovery process, but ended up playing football in college. And through my football career, I was involved with kinesiology and exercise science. So I was thinking, hey, maybe I'm going to go into be like a strength coach or some sort of maybe health field, but I didn't know for sure. And ended up finding my way to the pre-chiropractic club at school. And I was like, hey, I mean, I've seen a chiropractor before, but I don't really know much about it really. And through the club, I had learned a little bit more about what chiropractic actually was and the message that it was, portraying. And through that club, I found a chiropractor in town and ended up doing an internship with him before I went to chiropractic school. And he's the one that led me to go to Palmer School of Chiropractic. And from there, finished school. And now I'm a chiropractor of my own.
Right on. Can you talk a little bit about that transition process? You had an internship and then you were going into chiropractic school. What were some surprises that you encountered or some challenges that you had?
Sure. So with the doc that I worked for, I mean, I was very surprised that the difference between, like a very medical background. My mom's a nurse, so I've been in the hospital a good amount my life growing up, just visiting her for lunch and whatnot. And just seeing that pathogenic model of how you can even just interact with people, it's very, what's your chart number? What's your, where do you fall into this box? Versus the doctor I went to and interned with, it was very personable and very, he was very connected with the person in front of him. And it was, something I just didn't even know that's what it was about. And the more I learned into how to not only love myself, but the people around me, I was really able to kind of find my authentic voice. And through working with that doc, he had books for me that actually kind of helped me understand even more about chiropractic before I went to school. So if anybody's kind of looking to read or whatever, Dr. Fred Barge, Life Without Fear is a really good intro. That's what got me started into chiropractic and really kind of ignited my fire to get into school, and not only get into school and get through school, but really get the most out of it. So, I interned with him for a year. He helped me kind of understand the power. He was an upper cervical doc, so I got to see some really cool stuff with the doc, just adjusting the upper cervical area. And that was a really good message for me, finding out about how the upper cervical level can actually affect not only just neck pain, but even low back pain and other functions like asthma. It was, I don't know, just super powerful for me to learn that early on. So.
And so, all right, so you had this context of chiropractic. You had read Life Without Fear by Fred Barge. You had this year-long internship. What was the Pre-Chiro Club about, and what are some things that you think a Pre-Chiro Club should be really focused on or just talking about amongst different Pre-Chiro students that are thinking of this career?
Sure. So the Pre-Chiro Club is, obviously it's an intro to chiropractic. So it's a group, it's a student-led group, and they would bring in chiropractors in the area that would kind of come in and talk about kind of what their specialty is. Because in chiropractic, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of techniques and ways that you apply it to yourself, because it's a personally applied art. So it's kind of looking at how this doctor applies it to themselves. So it was really cool just to kind of get that early on, like, oh, I don't have to be just like a robot and do it this certain way. I can do it how I want to do it. Like, that was just very appealing to me. And on top of that, being my own boss is something that I've always wanted to do. So the club, what I feel like it should be is an intro to people, or an intro for students, especially who are who want to help people first and foremost. So I've always wanted to do that. I was thinking maybe I wanted to do that through like a strength program, but I didn't know. But through chiropractic and through the pre-chiropractic club, I learned that I could do all those things and have this other modality or other specialty that could be so much more powerful and help so many more people in such an amazing way.
No doubt. What do you say about the chiropractic philosophy and how it's expressed through your own individual art? The philosophy is something that is obviously originating at Palmer. How does it show up today in the student curriculum or the experience that you had in chiropractic school? How would you describe how the philosophy showed up and what you were really studying as a student? What did you gravitate towards as a student?
Sure. So initially when I got to school, I was really just trying to find my circle of people that not only I trusted, but that I could grind with, get not only because the program's tough, but not lose that ultimate end goal and having that perspective of like, it's all about the chiropractic message and spreading that to people. And in school, it's really easy to get like super, tunnel vision and like, hey, I have this paper to do. I have this exam. I have to get this score. But, it doesn't correlate having, focusing on that 90% A to being a good chiropractor. And I was fortunate enough to learn that before I went to school. So something I was always trying to do is just trying to really just make sure I'm diving into chiropractic. So I was trying to involve myself with just kind of different stuff, trying to feel, because I knew the power of upper cervical, but I also knew that maybe that's not what's going to resonate with my authentic self. So I was just really trying to figure out what really vibes with me and my own way. So I was part of a fraternity on campus, which kind of helped get me a little bit more insight into people who had, mothers, fathers, family members that are chiropractors, and seeing how they relate to chiropractic in that way. And on top of that, I got exposed to a bunch of different upper trimester students who kind of helped like, hey, this is what I did, and this is kind of how you can set yourself up for success just by not getting super focused into school, because that, school, especially early on, focuses a lot heavy on the science, right? Of the three-legged stool, science, art, and philosophy. So I was really looking for that art and philosophy. And that's really where I was like trying to expand my circle and make sure that I was being balanced with my school experience. So the art and philosophy, I definitely feel like are things that you kind of need to, as a student, put yourself out there for. Because if you just rely on school to give you all three things, you're going to kind of feel like something's missing in some way, shape, or form. So.
Right on. So for those that don't know, you said you were at Palmer, the school in Iowa, right?
Yep, Davenport, Fountainhead.
Okay. How far did you have to travel to go to school in Davenport? Were you from Iowa, or where were you from originally?
Yeah, I'm from Iowa City, so it's about an hour. So I'm pretty biased, and I'm really fortunate to have family so close to help support me. So that made it really easy for me to just kind of not feel super comfortable, but like know that like I've got support, and like at the end of the day, I got my family back behind me that are just going to love me and support me no matter what happens or what I go through, and I can be myself. So Palmer's awesome. I love Palmer, but I also know that maybe it's not for everybody. And there's a lot of really good chiropractic schools out there, and not just schools, but programs at certain schools that can really help you, find what vibes with you. Because I think above all else, making sure it's right for you is a big key.
Most definitely. Can you speak a little bit to like what you are doing today, how you got prepared for life after school? Because you recently graduated. Where are you at right now and things?
So yeah, I graduated in June. So the last semester of school was COVID, but I was in the clinic, but I'd already had met my clinic requirements. So I was precepting with Dr. Mitch Malley in Davenport, Iowa. And, I was super fortunate to have that experience because a lot of my fellow students, their clinic experience was cut super short and really limited even when they were able to come back. So being able to be in that clinic atmosphere and actually being in a practice was just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And, what kind of helped me get set up definitely was working with Dr. Malley. On top of, I was involved with the MLS club on campus at Palmer. So I started taking my first MLS course, which for those of you who don't know, that's Making Love to the Spine, founded by Dr. Arnaud Bernier. And what I love about MLS is it's such a balance of the three-legged stool of science, art, and philosophy. And above all else, it's just such a loving group and supportive group that really help you find your authentic voice and really just help you serve the people in front of you. Mm-hmm. So I started with them in September of 2020.
When was it? Which part of the program were you in when you went to your first MLS seminar, and how did it change?
Sure. So when I started MLS, I think I was like 5th or 6th try. So in Palmer, there's 10 tries. So I was about halfway through. And before that, like I said, I'd been, exposing myself not only to the philosophy, but also the art. So I'd been trying to get my hands on early on as possible, just even with palpation, just trying to understand the spine and understanding that everybody has a different spine, right? So just trying to build up those tools and those skills. But I always felt like there was something missing for me, especially just with that process. And, I'd been adjusted by a good amount of people and just understanding that there's definitely levels to it above all else. And so I had joined MLS through a friend who really recommended it, and I hold his opinion pretty highly. And he's a classmate of mine, Dr. Nicholas Lim from Singapore. And he explained to me the philosophies and just the overall training method of chiropractic and the art. And being an athlete, I understand the value of training really well. So that really jived with me. And took my first seminar with Dr. Jeremy Brook in Davenport. And from there, it was just like almost kind of like definitely a light bulb moment, but it was just like wow, like this is what I'm going to chiropractic school for. And from there, had taken 2 additional MLS seminars down in Atlanta with Dr. Wade Port. And, like I said before, it's a very personally applied art, and seeing how other chiropractors, especially like the high level masters who've been doing it for so long, seeing them work in their element is just like inspiring. And also it just makes me fall in love with chiropractic even more. So
how did it change your perception of the curriculum, or how did it help you through the program to have something that was so inspiring to you that you got exposure to outside of the curriculum? How did it just make your student experience that much more valuable?
Sure. It was that fire that I needed. There's still you can be very like gray and just very so I go to school and I do these exams, and like it can be very impersonal, and it really provided that just element of human interaction and just that human element that makes chiropractic so amazing. And that really makes it different from a medical model of manipulation and, really just feeding into that missing element for what a lot of people need right now.
Absolutely. So you just graduated in June. What are your plans now, and how confident do you feel in your ability to serve at a professional level?
Sure. So I opened up my own clinic here 3 weeks ago with my girlfriend, Dr. Leilani Zinsley, and we've been here in Ames, Iowa, which is 30 minutes north of the capital of Iowa. And as far as confidence level, I'm confident in my ability to give it everything I've got. And that's what I want to do for anybody I come into contact with. I want to serve them to the best of my ability. And I know the power of chiropractic and the power that the body has in its ability to heal. So I know a lot of people are missing chiropractic, and a lot of people are missing that message that they are beautiful and they're powerful and that they're loved. And that's something that we are looking to fill. And I just bring it every day to the best of my ability.
Beautiful. What would you say to a prospective student who's really trying to figure out if chiropractic is the right path for them, and they're trying to differentiate it from physical therapy or from going one of the medical routes? How would you describe why somebody should go in this chiropractic direction, and why shouldn't somebody? Like, we don't want just anybody to go the chiropractic route, because that's going to lead them to be
Sure.
potentially disappointed.
Sure. It's definitely, I want to, preface this that, like, yes, it is, very, we don't want just like it's not for everybody, right? But in that same vein, it's where the health model is going, especially towards the future, and especially if we're looking to be sustainable. So it's that process of being salutogenesis, focusing on what strengthens the body, what builds that resiliency and that resistance and that ability to express health, versus those other modalities are looking very outside in and not really necessarily taking care of the root of the problem. So chiropractic is very based on taking care of the root of the problem and letting the body take care of the rest. So one of my friends really gave a really awesome analogy for me that I just love. I really do love. And maybe most people won't get it, but the body's like an orchestra. Your brain's like the conductor. And all we're doing is we're making sure we're finding what's out of tune and letting the orchestra play its beautiful song, and we just step back and enjoy. So
can you speak to the courage that it takes to share a message of truth, like to share that truth with somebody when society is so rooted in a medical mindset, in a medicine cabinet, in every home, and people are living from the outside in? And how do you show up and have the courage and the strength to meet that person where they're at?
Sure. For me, it comes from a place of I'm secure with who I am. I have had those, I mean, like everybody, I've been there. I've been in those positions where I'm like doubting not myself, but just like, what am I about? Like, how do I want to treat people? How do I love my family? And it all stems back from my roots. And I know my family really does care for me, and they love me, and I love them. And I want to not only make them proud, but I want to be the change. And I want to speak it into existence. And I believe in the law of attraction. So I really just want to help people kind of understand that too, that thoughts are real things, and so are words. So like, if you have all these negative thoughts and all these negative energies, like, you're going to put out, or you're going to bring in what you put out. So I'm really just trying to be that positive light for what I can do to impact my community. So
no doubt. No doubt. Thank you for sharing such a clear message with the future generation of chiropractic students. At the end of the day, yes, most definitely. You and I have walked a very similar path. I was on staff with MLS for years. Is something that's deeply ingrained in who I am, and the type of chiropractic adjusting that I provide, that sort of connected, listening type of chiropractic, where somebody that's being adjusted by you is enjoying the adjustment, is not scary. It's really easy to break through somebody's fears if you have the skill set to provide a high quality adjustment. So I just want to thank you for dedicating yourself, and also being a great example. So keep doing what you do, man. If you need any support as a new chiropractor, I believe that it's our job to support each other. And for pre-chiro students, if you want to get connected, I'm sure you're willing to share your information below. I'll post some info about your office, and try and support anyone who's interested in this path, because I believe that it's given me such a great life, and it sounds like you're really enjoying it yourself. So
of course, yeah, man. Just above all else, just go out and just love yourself. So spread the love.
no doubt, we will.